Hello all, today I'll be teaching you about inserting an element at the end position of the linked list. So what's a linked list? A linked list is a linear collection of data elements called nodes which are linked to each other by the means of pointers. Each node has two parts. The first part contains the data and the second part contains the address to the next node. So this is the representation of the linked list. So this is head which points to the first node of the linked list. The first node in turn points to the second node of the linked list and the second node points to the third node. The third node finally points to null, which is nothing. So in insertion there are three cases. So insertion at the beginning, insertion at the nth position and insertion at the end. So by doing this second one, I'll be doing even first the beginning and the end. So I'll show you the code as well. So let's create a struct node. So basically this is for the node. The node has two parts, the data as well as the pointer to the next node. So I'll name it as next. I also create a pointer for head. Let's start with the function void insert. It has two parameters, one for the data, the other one for the position. So let's create a node, struct node temp1. So I'll allocate the memory dynamically. Struct node using malloc size of struct node. So this temp1 of data, I want the data to point to data, which is the data which the user enters. Temp1 of next will point to null. So this is the new node temp1. The next position will be null because it's not yet connected to anything. So first, if the user enters the position as 1, if n is equal to 1, or if the linked list itself is empty, so that is represented by head equal to null, then I make temp1 of next point to head. First I make temp1 of next point to head, that is the new node's next position will be pointing to head. Then I make head point to temp1. I return. So I'll show how this works. So first we create a new node called temp1. Let's assume that the user enters the data for this node as 10 and then initially it points to null. Let's assume that this is the address of temp1 node. First I make temp1 point to head. So for now head points to the first node of the linked list, the existing linked list. Now I make temp1 point to head. Now I make head point to temp1 because now this is supposed to be our first node. So I'll remove this connection. Then I make head point to temp1. So this will be like head is first, head is pointing to temp1. Temp1 will point to whatever head was pointing. So temp1 will point to this and then this second node will point to the third node. So this is how it will actually look. So let's continue. What if the user does not enter 1, but what if the user enters anything other than 1? Then for this case we create struct node temp2 pointer. This is pointer whose initial position is head. So let's create a for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I lesser than n minus 2 and temp2 of next should not be equal to null, I plus plus. So what does this mean? So basically I am traversing to n minus 1th node. So if I want to insert a node at the nth position, I need to traverse to n minus 1th node and then I have to change the links. This case is for inserting at the end. So I need to traverse all the way till the last node. So how do I know if this is the last node? temp2 of next will not point to null. It will point to null. So that is the last node. So let's continue. Temp2 I will traverse it till the desired node. Temp2 is equal to temp2 of next. And then if I reach that node, what do I do? Then temp1, the new node of next, points to temp2 of next. So the new node points to whatever the temp2 of next is pointing to. Then finally I break the link. Temp2 of next will point to the new node, which is temp1. I'll explain it with the example. So let's take this as the case. So we create temp2 pointer. It's a pointer, not a new node. So temp2 will initially be pointing at head. We need this pointer to traverse to a desired location. So this temp1 is the node. Let's assume that I want to insert this in between 200 and 300. So for that, I need to traverse it till here, and then I need to cut this link. I need to make a new link to here, and then this must point to this. So then it will be inserted in between. So for that, we create a temp2 variable, a pointer, and then temp2 must traverse to n minus 1th node. So in this case, if I want to insert this to the third position, I need to make temp2 travel to the second node. So let's do that. So first it goes here, then it comes here. After temp2 comes to the second position, I make temp1 of next. So this must point to whatever this is pointing. So temp1 of next points to this 300. Then afterwards I break this connection, and then I make 200 point to temp1. So I didn't show it properly here, but 200 must point to temp1. Since temp2 is pointing to 200, it is equal to 200 pointing to temp1. So that is what we are doing in the program. So let's move on. Then this is how it looks after it's inserted. So after all the connections are made, temp1 of next points to this. The position of the second node points to position of the second node's next points to the temp1. Then finally it looks like this. So let's assume this is the address of the node which we have inserted. Then what happens if I need to insert an element at the end? So I need to traverse this temp variable all the way till the last node. How do I know if this is the last node? If it's a last node, then temp of next will point to null. So I should keep on traversing until this points to null. So let's do that. So it goes to 100, then it goes to 200, then 250, then 300 and 400. Once it knows that temp of next is null, what I do is I first break this connection to null. That is, it's pointing to null. The last node is pointing to null. I make it point to the new node. This successfully creates a node at the end of the linked list. The new node's next position is anyway pointing to null, so it doesn't matter. So this is how insertion at end works. So let's make our code fully functional. This is just the insert function. Let's go on writing with the print function, void print. So I create struct node start temp, which points to head. This is a pointer. I need this pointer for traversing the linked list. So while temp not equal to null, I write temp not equal to null and not temp of next not equal to null, because if I write temp of next not equal to null, then it will miss out the last node. It will miss out to print the last node. So we should write only temp not equal to null. Then printf %d. I create tab for better readability, comma temp of data. So I print the data, the elements basically. Then I keep on traversing. Temp is equal to temp of next. Until the temp becomes null, this while loop traverses. Then printf percentage, no, new line. Let's come to the main function, int main. So head, I need to initialize head to null. Then insert, let's give the data. So 2, comma position, let me have the element 2 at position 1. Then let me have 3 at position 2. Then let me have 4 at position 1. I'm inserting 4 at position 1. Then let me insert 5 at position 2. Then let me insert 8 at position 5. So then return 0. Let's add the print function as well. Print. Now let's see. You see, insert n.c a. So this will be our output. So let's analyze. So first we're inserting 2 at position 1, then 3 at position 2, then later on I insert 4 at position 1, then 5 at position 2, then finally 8 at position 5. So this seems to be correct. And this is it about insertion. Thank you for watching.